Hello everyone, Jubilee Lipsy here with Awaiting Arrows, which is the part of my channel where I talk a little bit more informally about my journey to try to conceive. And today I just wanted to talk about sort of the phenomenon that happens when we want something beautiful really badly and it's something that would change our lives, but what happens when we fixate on it? It's just an interesting phenomenon, but I want to start by talking about the Chapmans, Stephen Curtis Chapman and Mary Beth. Stephen Curtis Chapman, if you don't know, is a very famous singer, songwriter. I listened to his music. It was all over in the 90s, all over the radio, and he was on tour and such. And he and his wife have natural children, and they've also adopted from China several times. And they created Shahana's Hope, which is an organization that helps people adopt, especially internationally, and named after their adopted daughter, Shahana. And all of that to say, one of my favorite books is written by Mary Beth Chapman called Choosing to See, and it was about her faith journey in the midst of a tragedy that happened in their lives that in 2008 that claimed the life of one of their daughters. And Mary Beth tells the story of all the adoptions in this book. And one of the things that stands out to me that she mentions is how Mary Beth struggled with, and I'll link her book down in the description box, but Mary Beth struggled with depression and anxiety. And when they first adopted their first daughter, Shahana, she was overcome with anxiety up until the last minute when the baby was put in her arms. And when that happened, she, like right before they gave her the baby, she talks about looking back at her 3 natural children in the hotel room and realizing this is it. From the moment this baby is placed in my hands, we're not going to be the same ever again. And God did a miraculous work. From the minute the baby was placed in her hands, she just felt the anxiety melt away, and God did a miracle, just connected her with this baby immediately. And that's the first part that I love, is that just with everything that you're going through, God will meet you and he will fill up his, and he'll meet me. He'll fill up our inadequacies with his grace. And he loves to do those supernatural works where he just reaches inside us and does what only he can do. But the part I want to focus on is the fact that Mary Beth recognized that adopting this baby would be a death to what they had known. And that's how it is when you have kids. That's how it is when you get married. It's not negative, and it's not like you lose your individuality or anything like that. But it is very important to know this. And when you have had marriage or children delayed for a long time, you can fixate only on how wonderful it's going to be, and you almost don't focus on how much it's going to change your life. That getting married doesn't destroy your individuality, but it is a death to the life of just processing everything from here on out as a single person. You now have another person to consider as part of your life. And there's a similar thing that happens with children, that it is you will never be able to go back, whether it's a natural birth or an adoption, you'll never be able to go back to life before kids. And you're stepping into this journey of trusting God with every little bit of development, every single question for the rest of your life. And so when I get in this journey, I've gotten so fixated on the struggle and on when is this going to happen, that when I pull back to see that, to acknowledge that bigger perspective, I realize how much the journey of trying to conceive can skew your vision as far as making you forget that what God is doing in this process is preparing you. If yours has been delayed, God is preparing you for the absolute life change that it's going to be, and how radically you're going to need to trust him with every step once that starts. And so the steps that I'm going to need to take as a mom, I can start taking them now and the steps that you're going to need to take in the next season that you're trusting God for, you can start taking them now. You can start trusting God the way you're going to need to trust him then, right now. So that's what I want to do, and I would encourage you to do that. I'm trying to ask God, how can I trust you now? How can I take those steps through the door that's in front of me and treat it as practice for how I'm going to have to trust him once I have children?